All right, we are back for another week of Tai Chi by video, and it's so great to have you back. I'm glad you're following this. I'm glad you're trying to keep up with what we're doing, and as long as you keep watching, I'll keep recording. And we had a cat and we just lost her, but it still qualifies as cat Tai Chi. Hang on just a second. Keep doing that. Let's see. So I promised you that these videos would not become some sort of a COVID diary, but I do have to give you an update. So today is July 5th, 2020, and work on the swamp cooler is going well, except for, the governor has said that gyms can't open up until August 1st, so that's us, So I hope to have the cooler going by then, and we can return if you feel comfortable. I don't want to encourage anyone to return who does not feel comfortable with that. And you can also come back and observe and see if what you see seems safe to you. You can bring your own cleaning products. You can do whatever you want to do. But enough of that. So the thing about the videos is that it's challenged me. In class, we can do a lot of the same stuff over and over again, right? Because we're learning refinement and we're learning to deepen our practice, but that threatens to be boring to see the same thing on video every week, right? Why bother? I can just do one video. You can just watch the same video every week. So you guys have challenged me to find different ways to express a lot of the same things we're doing. So for instance, this wrapping the pole, this very circular thing. Last week we saw a different loosening exercise. And again, there's different exercises for different reasons. Loosening is one thing, stretching is another thing, energy work is another thing, and then you can go even deeper than that, possibly. So last week, just a teeny tiny review, we had, instead of this circular movement, we had this movement in the frontal plane, okay? And you can refer back to last week's video. In fact, please do, because we're not going to go over it again. But I did want to show you one thing I did not show you. From straight on in this video, you might not be able to see the difference between the two. So I just never thought to turn sideways. Now, bear in mind, I'm not very loose today because I'm a physical wreck. My back is trashed and my foot is trashed. And so, I can barely move, you guys. So I'm trying to be as loose as possible. But I think what I also told you last week, or many times I've told you, is that I try to exaggerate so that the things I'm doing are very obvious. I don't want to try to hide anything from you. Okay, so you see that? It's more in the frontal plane. So if I was to even go slowly, it would be more like this, right? That's not Tai Chi, but that's the plane that we're working in. So, but to finish my point, I can't exaggerate today. I'm going to under-exaggerate, all right? So I'll do the best I can. So then, there's another loosening movement. Oh, you guys, the moon is full tonight, so we'll do some lunar Qigong and some lunar Tai Chi. So there's this huge number of movements that are all based on either an animal looking at the moon or just us turn the body to look at the moon. Maybe the arms are up, maybe they're here. But it's always the spirit and the essence of this. Any Qigong that says looking at the moon, anywhere in its title, is this turning, right? So we can do a loosening exercise that is very reminiscent of this, and all it is a double figure eight. But first, let's do it. It's very hard to get your arms to swing loosely like this. So why don't we just figure this movement out as if it were silk reeling. Okay, so if it was silk reeling, and then you can just figure it out. So we're coming back like this, and then like this. So silk reeling usually, this movement is mostly pulling, but silk reeling usually has a little bit of pushing in it. And if you can see this hand here, this kind of hand has a little bit of a pushing as it comes forward, and then it joins the pulling hand. So two hands pulling back, then one hand pushing forward. So just to let you know, so these things are never as simple as they seem. Okay, so this may be a silk reeling exercise for all I know. I'm just sort of making it up. And okay, and I don't want to go crazy on this. I sort of felt that I was kind of going like this, and no, I want to stay centered, you guys. I don't want to go crazy. And there is something to be said for a little bit of understatement. So maybe today's video will be better than most because my lower back is on fire. And okay, so now we get the movement. Now do it with like nothing in your arms. Before you were pulling silk, now you're doing nothing with your arms. Okay, so, and I just didn't think, I can't tell you to do nothing with your arms until you know generally the pattern, okay? Otherwise, if we didn't review it beforehand, I'm afraid that we would be moving from our arms and not from our waist. So can you see how this is reminiscent of gazing at the moon, right? So I just thought you'd like that. Remember, the purpose of loosening is to loosen. So if you still feel tight, pause the video. You can do this as long as you want, right? Do it throughout the day, a couple times a day, right? Okay, so that's enough, but we'll move on. So, and then if you're saying, what is Rhino Gazes at the Moon? We'll review that, but we won't do all of our permutations for Rhino Gazes at the Moon. We'll just do the one, do the most basic, okay? Which is, okay, this is, orange is my right hand. You can mirror me and ignore my instructions on right and left, or you can follow my verbal instructions on right and left, and then you'll be turning in the other direction as I am. Okay, so this is my right hand on top. I turn to the right. My weight happens to shift into my right leg, but we're not going to do anything with that today. Normally we do. And then you can bring your hands into this sword hand, the two fingers. Okay. Reset. Other side. This is the rhino's horn. So while we just go back, so this is the most basic version. I'll show you one more thing to do. You can curl the hand under with the fingertips together, making your rhino horn that way for more twisting. That's optional. And I hope you understand the way to switch your arms is to scoop the back hand under and then let this hand rise up to the top of the circle. Okay, so I'll just do the sword hand as I talk. So I was reviewing my notes and I was looking for my parable about why the rhinoceros is gazing at the moon. And I realized I couldn't find it anywhere, so I looked on the internet, can't find it anywhere. So this parable, this story that I thought everybody knew, it's not even on the internet. So I'm going to tell it to you now before I forget it, so that somebody will know it, right? Because I thought everybody knew this. Okay, so the heavenly emperor gazed down upon the mortals on the earth and noticed that, in layman's terms, all they were doing was partying, right? Okay. They were obsessed with worldly things, food and drink, wine, women, and song, the whole thing. So the heavenly emperor called upon the rhinoceros general and said, I have an assignment for you. I want you to go down to earth and move amongst the mortals, and I want you to tell them that from now on they need to pray 3 times a day and eat only once a day. So the rhinoceros general went to earth, but the moment he got there, he was completely overtaken by the bright lights, the pretty female rhinoceroses, the dancing, the food, the beverages, and he completely lost himself. And when it came time to complete his mission, he told the mortals that they need to eat 3 times a day and pray 1 time a day. So, and just in case you lost that, he reversed his instructions. So back up to heaven he goes, and the heavenly emperor is waiting for him there and said, you messed up, you got it backwards, you are forever banished to the earth. And when he got back to earth, he also realized that in addition to all the partying, there were sorrows and tragedies and things like that too, and suffering. So from time to time, he could be seen gazing up at the heavens, missing his former station in the heavens and wishing he could go back there, but forever sentenced to life here on earth. So that's the story in a nutshell, loosely translated. And again, I looked all over, I can't find the original source, but it's in the mists of antiquity. It's a really old parable. And the reason I mentioned that too is that there's another parable. I had told you this week we would discuss, okay, that's enough of that. I had told you this week that we would discuss, let's just finish our shoulders and our neck here. This is not Qigong, as far as I know. Maybe I'll find one. I told you that we would discuss 2 things this week when we're not going to do them. I told you we would continue our discussion of old man searches tide pool for reflection of the moon. I mean, I told you that last month that we were going to look at it again, and we won't do that. We'll do that next month. There should be one more video, or actually we'll have more videos. Even if we were to open the dojo up wide open, it would still have videos for people who are in a high-risk category. So next month I'll tell you more about this parable of the old man seeking the reflection of the moon in tide pool, and we'll revisit that Qigong, because that's a powerful, powerful Qigong that can be done on many levels, okay? And the reason we're not doing it today is my back just can't take it. It's a very energetic movement. Okay, so let's go around the other way with our shoulders. The other thing I promised you was that we would look again at high pat horse. Still doing some research on that, looking at the Wu style and Chen style, and so we'll look at that next week. And besides, it has nothing to do with the moon. So stand by for that. That'll be fun. Okay, let's move up to our neck. Let's just look up and down. Okay, look side to side. And then finally, look straight ahead, tip the head from side to side. Keep doing, please. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Okay, so massage the neck and shoulders. So as I mentioned before, there's a whole world of Qigong, right? And some of it's loosely translated as energy work, but honestly, some of it is primarily stretching, some of it is primarily loosening, as we've discussed, and then you get into some that is pure energy work, and then, as we discussed last week, there's some that actually has a martial origin, right? So so let's do one that is really, really stretching. And this one comes from the 8 Brocades of Silk, which is also known as the 3 Hearts, 9 Gates set. And this one has many, many different names, and it's also numbered differently by different people. Even, I mean, the 8 Brocades is super popular worldwide. It's super ancient. We don't know how old it is. But since we're doing Lunar Qigong, the name that I'm going to go with today is cat gazing at the moon. So you know this one. And if you don't know this one, you might say, wow, this doesn't even look like any Qigong that I've done. But put the hands on the thighs. Your legs are pretty wide. And then you get this tremendous stretching as you look back up at the moon. And you can use leverage here to stretch your sides and then come back and then other side. This feels really good. This is what my back needed, you guys. This was sent from heaven just for me. Well, let's just say I picked this one out of several that I was going to show you because this is so good for my poor back. Oh, this feels great. Oh my God. This really looks like, I've seen this done in yoga classes, and it was never attributed to anything. It's really not a yoga pose as far as I know. But it's a great movement. So I hope you can feel this sort of leverage in the arms here, sort of pushing and twisting. If you've never done it before, take it easy. Second or third time we do it together, it'll make more sense. That goes for anything we do, you guys. First time it won't make any sense. Unless, and then the only other thing, and this is really weird, you may have noticed, that's good. Okay, great. So you may have noticed sometimes that there are movements that we do that you almost feel as if you've always known them your whole life, except for you just forgot them. And then when I show it to you, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that now. I love that. There's a lot of things, if you're open to that concept, there can be, mathematical theories that when you hear it, it suddenly makes sense. It's as if you knew it and you had forgotten it and someone's just reminding you of it. There's ideas like that's how you know an idea really makes sense, is if you feel like you already knew it and somebody just had to remind you of it. And there are people that believe that all of our knowledge is innate, and it's just being revealed to us one idea at a time, or remembering. So this is energy work, no more stretching. So we did loosening, stretching. We'll do some energy work. Now all you want to do is just feel energy. This is called moon rises and sets over a river. So so I'm taking a wide stance, not a horse stance. Well, you could take a horse stance, or you can just take a casual stance with the feet in our usual stance, 1 foot. And if you keep your feet wide like this, you won't need to pivot as much. I think we can get away with this one in just a casual stance. I'm going to be shifting here and here, so this should feel comfortable. And I think that if our feet are wide like this and angled outward, we won't have to do much pivoting at all. Okay, so you can just think about energy. So let's see. So we start with the river. I'm shifting with the flow of the river, and then the moon rises. I'm shifting back the other way. The moon sets. So we're not really doing moon embracing palms because we don't really care that much about big stretching and twisting on this one. Again, we're just trying to feel energy, right? And just feel the tremendous relaxation of this movement. It's really beautiful movement. So any sort of an offhand moon sort of shape. And remember the moon shape in most of these moon exercises, it's much smaller than a sun shape. So we can inhale up and exhale down. You know, you can just let your body breathe this one by itself. The moon sets over the river. So maybe our river is a little bit lower this time. I don't like to put too many rules in my Qigong because then it gives you too much to think about. So let's switch sides here and have the river flow this way. Should feel really good. So you can feel you could put a lot more oomph into this. You could have more presence in your hands. We could, if we turned our palms outward, you get this stretching and pulling. We could do a much wider stance, do a lot more pulling. But as I told you, my back is killing me, so I'm underdoing. I'm just feeling good. I've already done a bunch of work today. I don't really want to work too much right now. Almost forgot to shift my weight. We are shifting forward and back, but it's not a huge deal. It's not going to be a lot of rules today. Just ideas. So remember, any movement we do, first of all, you apprehend it visually. You see what's going on. And then hopefully I will explain the intention or yi so that you know why we're doing it. And that adds a big dimension to the movement, right? So once you know why you're doing it, that's sort of the proof of whether you're doing it correctly. The visual proof is more or less arbitrary. It's just correct because somebody told you it was. When you know the intention, then you can determine whether you're doing it correctly, right? And then sometimes the qi, where you place your qi or how the qi moves can be opposite to the intention, so we can split yi and qi. That's another dimension. And then finally there's this might not be the last dimension, but there's this dimension of the essence or spirit of the move. So let's just do one more of these. So every movement has just this basic essence, right? So as we discussed earlier, gazing at the moon, the essence of that is this twisting and looking back. That's just the essence. And whatever you add to that, you're just adding a layer on top of that. So every movement in our form has a certain essence, and you'll come to see that when we look, for instance, next week at at High Pat the horse, we're going to try to figure out just what is the real essence of it, and what has been added on to it, you know. So let's see. So we'll do a movement from our form, and this will also be this week's balance. Okay, so this will be, let me double check. We will do number 12B of the 88 Young Family San Shou form, which happens to be brush knee, and in the Yang form they call it brush knee twist step. We'll come to learn the essence of this. And so the brush knee in most forms, in the slow solo form, is just this feeling of like here. And we've done this before, and then you come in like here. So brush knee, twist step, and then this is the strike. This is the brush knee, and this is the strike. And my weight is forward. So why am I telling you this? Well, we can do this a couple more times just so you see this. And we've reviewed this before, where these two movements are completely connected. There is no this without that. This is just, the left hand, the yellow hand is just as powerful as the right hand. It looks like the left hand, the strike, it's all about this strike, and that this is an afterthought, but no, it's called brush knee for a reason. It's all about the brush knee, and this is almost an afterthought. This is almost an afterthought, but they're completely connected. And as we mentioned before, it's not, my power is not, this doesn't cancel this out, and also it's not 50% here and 50% there. It's this and this equal more than the sum of their parts in terms of my power. Okay, so they're fueling each other, right? So why did I say there's a balance? Okay, because in our form, the first thing we did, or the movement before this, was wave crashes to shore. We have some leeway in here as far as which foot comes forward. And for our purposes, let's say the left foot comes forward. So we came here, wave crashes to shore. And then our partner split our hands and did a phoenix kick. And then we're being kicked, so we have to check this kick. And checking a kick just means to take your weight off that foot, and then they can kick this leg pretty hard and not damage it as much because it absorbs, right? And they can actually hurt themselves on our leg, kicking our leg when you check a kick. And if possible, you turn your shin into the direction of their kick so they hit your shin with their foot. But it doesn't matter, they might not be kicking, they may just be doing a low ankle kick, so it doesn't matter. But the point is, we're not doing this like they do in the young solo form or the short forms. We're coming back, so we're gonna entwine with this hand. So they knocked our hand away like this, and we're gonna entwine here, come back, brush the knee. So if the kick does continue, if it's successful, we brush the knee, and then instead of coming forward like this, we're going to plant rice. And so we're going to punch down to the level of the crotch, right? So we're not going to go over this movement in super detail, but so let's just do that again. So we pushed, and then they blocked our hands outward and kicked. So we're going to step back. We're going to lift this foot. This hand comes down. So this hand withdraws from the action. This hand entwines. And then this hand, okay, so then this hand, see, this is why I called it our balance of the day. Because you're balancing. This hand is going to join the action again. So this comes down, and then this crushes. And this is a scooping motion. It's not just like this. It's a scooping motion. And then in our form, we're going to go down, okay? And something like that. So one more time on this side, and then I'll explain to you why we're doing it today when the moon is full. Okay, so let's say so something like this. And then, okay, so let me show you this sequence here. So let's say left hand 1, this right hand 2, left hand 3, and then don't worry about, we're not going to count this as 4, but it doesn't matter, okay? So let's do that again, one more time, I promise. So with this counting, and there's a reason for this counting, I promise, okay? So push, left hand 1 circle, right hand 2 circles, left hand 3rd circle. I'm sorry, I'm so used to doing it like this. Let's go down here. Okay, and one more time and I'll get it right. Because if I'm messing it up, then I'm showing you improperly. So, left foot forward, push. Left hand 1 circle. Right hand 2 circles. Left hand 3rd circle, and then right hand plant rice. Okay? So, why did I show that to you with those 3 circles? And why am I showing that to you today? Because that movement is also known as 3 halos encircle the moon. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, big shocker. So, you may not have learned, if we have experienced Tai Chi people here, you may have learned 3 circles. You may have puzzled over 3 circles or 3 halos encircle the moon. And a lot of people can't find 3 circles in that movement that we just did. So they pull a circle from the next movement. I just don't agree. I don't want to argue with anybody. I just don't agree. So in other words, they're stealing a circle from the following movement in order to make 3 circles. But I think that we've found 3 circles, no problem, right? So, and it's the same thing in the sword form. So I'll show you how it works in the sword form. So it's so early in the sword form is that we aren't even holding our sword like this yet. We're still holding it like this, and so it's so we come back like this. So I think we were here. So 1, 2, 3. See that? 3 halos encircle the moon, or 3 auras encircle the moon. So again, so it would be 1 left hand, 2 right hand. That's a second halo. And then the 3rd halo is not here. It's here. It's this scooping motion. All right, great. Do we dare try it on the left side? Oh, no. Okay, so wait, hang on a second. So it'd be here, here, here. Okay, yeah, this is going to be hard, okay? But if you don't know it, it won't be hard. It's only hard, doing the left-hand side is only hard if you're used to doing it on the other side. So it would be, okay, so right hand, 1, left hand, 2. And then remember, this is our balance for the day, so this knee is coming up. And you can even, so now I'm going to tell you about the Wu fast form. There's even a brush knee where we haven't even stepped down yet. 3. Okay, so again, this will make this our balance. Okay, so this is working out pretty good on the other side. Okay, so 1. Okay, so I shift back. 1. Okay, so this is some sort of simultaneous. Right hand, 1, 2, knee up. 3. Oh, so great. That's from the fast form. I love the fast form. It's like this. There's 4 really fast brush knees in sequence. Each one is slightly different. I believe this is like the second one. One more time. Okay, so, okay. 1, 2, knee up, 3. Ah, so great. I love it. So now if you want, we can do it as a drill. See if we can do it on both sides, all right? Thank you for humoring me. This may be a little on the difficult side, but that's the other beauty of the video, right? You can stop it, you can start it. Okay, so I'll just keep this is my left hand, so I'll just keep counting this out. So 1 circle. Okay, so 1 circle. Right hand back is the second circle. Knee up, 3rd circle, and then through to here. Okay, and then oops. 1, 2, 3. 1. That was 2. This is 3. So we can work this out. See, this is why it's our balance for the week, because we're spending a lot of time. And then 1. Hand coming back is 2. Knee coming up. And then scoop the knee. That's 3. Okay, so this is definitely from the fast form. This is not the way we do it in our form. So maybe before we stop, let's just review how we do it in our form, so that will be the last thing that sticks in your mind. But you see how we can play with these things? Because every version has validity. There's versions in the fast form where this hand is cutting and chopping. But the one that I believe looks like the 3 halos encircle the moon is 1, 2, and then this beautiful circling movement. Yeah, it feels really good. So one more time from our form on the proper side. So left foot forward. First, the movement before it is wave crashes to shore. That's a beautiful movement too. I'm not going to rush through this time. Okay, they split our arms. So we have to get our control back. So we're entwining with this left hand like our rolling arms, right? This hand drops down. We withdraw the leg that's being kicked. And then just for good measure, brush that knee, and then we come through and plant some rice here. Okay, good. All right, let's move on. That's enough. That's a good lesson, right? In fact, why don't we take a tiny break and then we'll do our form together. Okay, good idea, good idea. We are back from our break. I don't feel much pressure. It's pretty hot in here, you guys. Let's do our form. I promised you also last week we'll try to do our form from a different angle. That's all I can do. I can't change our form, right? But we can do it from a different angle. So we'll do the A side facing west. Never do that. Okay. What? You want to do it with us? Okay. All right. So you guys, we have this dojo cat. I also found in the dojo a dojo praying mantis. So that's good luck also. I think I have to relocate it though, because I don't think it has much of a life in store for it here. It's not much to eat. I don't even know how it got in. Anyway, so here's our form. Okay, so relax completely. This is the A side. We'll just do the first 8 movements. Okay. All right, so, another thing we discovered last week, maybe some of you are already doing this. You can just go from the sound of my voice or, wait a second, pause the video. I forgot. Pause the video, try doing your form right now. Get to the point where you're puzzled or completely forget, and then when you come back and do it with me, it'll have so much more meaning. Try it now, please try it now, okay? Hit pause, okay, unpause, we're back. now you got to the point where you forgot something or you weren't sure what was going on, so it'll make the form now will have more meaning for you. You can watch very carefully, or second option, try to do the form along with me without watching, just with the sound of my voice. Okay, here we go with no further ado. Sink into the right foot. Left foot slides forward. Left hand comes up, leading with the back of the wrist. I'm going to slide my right foot all the way through and push the right arm through. That is all. That was white snake, darts out its tongue. The left arm's coming around in a beautiful circular motion. The left arm's coming up underneath the right arm. The wrists meet. The fingers extend. This is implied. Reach up to touch the 7 stars of the Big Dipper. And this upward movement of the arms pulls the left foot up even with the right foot. Now the arms can drop back down. The right hand comes back to the hip. The right foot comes forward. And the second punch is known as carry hammer. Okay, so I'm going to sink back into my left foot, holding a large ball. This is our white crane. My left hand happens to be on top. I'm going to switch arms. The right hand comes up first. Left hand then can drop down. The right foot pivots to the right. And this is white ape swings through branches, or left shoulder strike. I'm shifting left, but not too far. I shift back right, but not too far. Pivot the left toes around. Step the right foot up and over. Shift right. Shift back left. Elbow strikes the heart. Shift back right. Ring the gong. Shift left and strike a tiger. Okay. Step the right foot up diagonally. Strum the lute. We'll look at this next week, I promise. Shift back, the right toes come up, arms come loosely together. Pivot the right foot around as far as you can comfortably. Step the left foot in and back. We're facing north now. Inspect horse's mouth. Sorry you can't see me, but there's always going to be 1 or 2 moves you can't see. I'll hold my arms up to the side just for the heck of it. Half step back with the right foot, arms come back and down. Half step back with the left foot, arms come up on our left. Into dragon pose, shifting your weight way back. Maybe even pick up the right foot. Big deep breath, and then we'll just release. So that was our little tiny short form version. It's not a short form, it's just the first 8 movements. Okay, so little water break, and then we'll do the B side, also facing west, and I believe we can cycle through the form now a couple of times, or at least once before I run into a wall or something like that. Okay, so again, you guys, you want to take a break? Hit pause, chill out, relax, have a break, okay. And then unpause, here we go. Shift into your left foot. Right foot slides back on the toes. As you transfer your weight into it, your body will naturally turn right. That's okay. Turning your body back to the left is what pulls the left foot in and back. And then as you shift back, the arms come up. If you do that fast, you'll see how it works. And then we go from dragon pose into single whip. Left fingertips together, right fingertips sticking straight out. Keep twisting left, step around, strike a tiger. Keep twisting left. Pull that left foot in and back, pull the right hand back and down. And now, straight towards you, an upward push. And then I'm stepping up, and then a shoulder strike. Okay, shift back into your left foot. Hold this hoop shape. Left hand on top, pivot around. Draw the bucket from the well. Okay, shift back. Left palm up, right palm down. Look at that right foot pivoting. Step the left foot in and back. Downward push. White snake darts out its tongue. So why don't we go around again, just for fun. 7 stars. I'll talk less this time. Carry hammer. White crane. White egg swings through the branches. elbow strikes the heart. So you can see why we didn't do it facing west before, because but sometimes it's good to see from the back, right? So that's ring the gong. This is strike a tiger. Coming into strum the lute. All right, shift back. Turn and inspect horse's mouth. So that's an angle that you don't see very often, right? And then from here, come back to dragon pose. I'm afraid I'm in the corner now. There's nothing I can do here. So good job. Excellent, excellent. Great. You can rewind, do it again if you want. And then, for those of you not big on the form, we'll do some circle walking, and since the moon is full, so this is the way we normally do it. This is the tiger's mouth. My palm is facing out. This palm is facing down, protecting. But we can have yin palms when the moon is full. Let me put the cone here, just so you can picture that circle. Also practice visually picturing your perfect circle, so you don't even need a center point, right? So we can have yin palms since the moon is full. This palm is facing inward, this palm is facing up. So I want everyone to have something they can do which is just so simple. You don't even have to think about it, right? So learning the Tai Chi form is great for a number of reasons, one of which I never discussed is for brain plasticity, because it's really hard to learn, right? And honestly, but it's really good for your brain to do something like that. Most of us really stopped intensive learning in like the 7th or 8th grade. And unless you start a new job and then you have this very steep learning curve and then it just all plateaus out. And then from there on, all it is a few PowerPoints, right? Let's switch. Again, no fancy switch. I want you to, so I was just saying, it's really good to learn something difficult every now and then. It's good for your brain plasticity. In addition to just the knowledge, it's like a workout for your brain. In addition to just the knowledge that you're learning, it's a good exercise, right? But if we're talking about moving chi, and that may be the whole reason we're doing this, right? Instead of playing a musical instrument. So learning to play the guitar would also increase your brain plasticity. So why are we doing Tai Chi? I hope it's because of we're preserving our mobility, right? And it's very healthy, right? So for mobility and health, I didn't mention anything about our brain. You don't really need to learn the form for mobility and health, right? So if that's your goal, then don't worry about it too much, right? And just do some Sudoku puzzles. But my point is we just don't know a lot of things. It may be that what I'm trying to say is that a person who does circle walking, say, or some other form of simple stepping for 5 minutes a day, and then only knows one Qigong, the one I showed you, lifting water. If you do those 2 things a day, every day, 2 or 3 times a day, we don't know. You may reap more benefits than the person who knows many, many forms but doesn't practice them very often, or when they practice, they're so consumed with correctness that they're not even feeling anymore. If you can do very simple movements, you may wind up better. So same thing in martial arts. There are some martial artists who really only know maybe 3 techniques, or maybe even less than that. They've just got one super technique, and they may go through an entire fight waiting for the one opportunity to use that technique, and when they get that one opportunity, they win the fight, right? So there's thousands of moves in martial arts, but most martial artists resort to like their 3 favorites, and so there may be something to that, right? And so I know a lot about Tai Chi and Qigong, but when I'm in a hotel somewhere and maybe I can't get to sleep, I'll do this. I'll do one of our Bagua teacup exercises and maybe a little circle walking, and that's it, right? So there may be something, and we don't know. We just don't know. But practice is important. Practice is very important. You can know as much as you want. So that's like a yoga quote. I won't end on this quote, but Sri Joas, Patabi Joas said, yoga is 99% practice and 1% knowledge, right? So what if Tai Chi is the same way? No one has ever said that. Shocking, shocking. I think a lot of Tai Chi players think that it's lots and lots and lots of knowledge, and then they forget to practice. So that's why I saved these 2 simple moves for the end of class. I give you something early in the class that's easy too. So you'll always have something that you can't forget, that you can always do in your pocket. So I'm going to do one more of these and I'm going to shut up, I promise. Okay, so. When you're done, just stand and meditate. That would be the 3rd thing. That would be the 3rd thing. 1 stepping, 1 Qigong, and then 5 to 20 minutes of meditation in whatever stance you choose. Okay, stay here just for a moment. Oh yeah. Okay, we'll close with a quote. Another Confucius quote, 500 BC, more or less. This is beautiful. If your plan is for 1 year, plant rice. If your plan is for 10 years, plant trees. If your plan is for 100 years, educate children. And thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you next week, same place. Okay, thanks so much.